this year OnCampus upgraded the way that their gradebook works. So I want to show you what that looks like so that you can get your gradebook set up. You have to set up your gradebook before you add any assignments to a class. I say again, you have to set up your gradebook before you add any assignments to a class. So before you've added any assignments, you want to set up your gradebook. Paramount importance, otherwise it creates some issues. So first things first, you're on the class page. They have Launch Gradebook. So you're going to click that. Once the gradebook launches, you're going to see something that's pretty straightforward, right? You've got your students right there. You would see their grades in here, but of course there aren't any yet. And in this big white space is where each assignment will show up when you create them. So it'll be an assignment and then the individual grades for that assignment moving right across. So to set up the gradebook, we're going to go into the settings. You can mess around with what displays on there. That's totally up to you. That's not what this is about. This is about grade calculation. That's where we're going to set things up, this option right here. So you go to Launch Gradebook, you go to Settings, and then Grade Calculation. Here is where they've got school year or marking period. You want school year. If you choose marking period, what that means is that you will have to, at the beginning of every marking period, all 4 of them, before you add any assignments, you have to come in and set up your gradebook again. You don't want to do that. It's going to cause some trouble for you. So click school year. Then you're going to choose a calculation method. There are 3 options, and they have the little info button here to explain them, which is great. But basically, total points is exactly what you'd think. You determine how many points each thing is worth. At the end, it's just going to take all of the points they earned, divide it by all of the points they could have earned, and that's the grade. Done. Total points with weight. Every assignment in this case would be points earned over points possible. However, the categories are weighted. So if you have, like the example they give here, 30% homework, 40% quizzes, 30% exams, everything's weighted that amount, but you have the option of weighting the assignments based on how many points they're worth. So if you have lots of homework assignments, but some are 5 points, but some are 10 points or whatever, you have that option. They would be worth more based on how many points there are, but that category is still worth 30% or 40 or whatever. Percentages is what I use, and in percentages, everything within the category is weighted the same regardless of how many points it's worth. So for me, I have a test projects and essays category. Everything that's in there is weighted the same regardless of how many points. I might have a test that's only 60 points worth of questions, but that is weighted the same as a 100-point essay because the difficulty level of each is the same. It's just to fairly assess it, one only needs 60 points worth of questions. So within the category, it doesn't matter how many points they're worth. They're all weighted the same. So if it's a 30% for homework, then all of the things, whether it's 1 point, 5 points, 10 points, are all equal. And then that category is weighted at 30%. So totally up to you, whichever one you want. And if you're not sure, again, you can read that info and figure it out. So I am a percentages guy. So that's what I'm doing. Once you've clicked that, you're going to select assignment types. These are the things that will be in your gradebook. So any category that you're going to use for grading something, you want to check that off here. For my honors English class, that's classwork, homework, and then the test projects, essays. So I apply that. Letter grade scale, leave it blank. Leave it blank. I know there are tempting options like letter grades and pass-fail. Leave it blank. Leave it blank. Unless you have a pass-fail class, in which case pick pass-fail. If you go down here and pick letter grades, you will not be able to enter numbers into your gradebook. You will only be able to enter A, B, C, D, F. You don't want that, so leave it blank. Weight. here's just what I was saying. Like, these are percentages. My classwork category is worth 20%. My tests and projects are worth 70, and then homework is worth 10 in this 12th grade class. So that's how that's weighted. If I wanted to say, like, I'm going to drop one homework or something, I can put one in there, and then whatever the lowest number is will get dropped in that category. I can also put a default maximum number of points. So if I know that all my homeworks are going to be 15 points, then I can put 15 in there, and every time I go to create a homework assignment, it will already be 15 points. You can change it. It doesn't always have to be 15, but this is just a default that's going to pop up, right? So, like, my tests and projects are almost always 100 points because they're usually essays that are out of 100. So I'm going to make that default for that category. Oh, and this one's almost always 50, so I'm going to do that too. But you don't have to do that. You can always edit it later. It doesn't matter. Make sure your total weight, if you are weighing categories, goes up to 100. If it is any more or less, you will get an error because it has to equal 100%. If you have other classes that have the exact same breakdown, you can check those boxes under other sections to apply. There you go. And then once all that is done, go away. You go down here and you hit save. Save, save, save. So now that's saved. Now my gradebook is set up. And now if I go to add an assignment, I will see, whoop, there we go, we're loading. Under assignment types, I'm going to see those ones that are in my gradebook, the GB. If there's an ungraded assignment that I want to put in like a different category, I can select from other grade type things. But keep in mind, these are not in your gradebook. So if you choose from one of those, even if you try to go in and put a grade, it will not get calculated because you don't have that set up as part of your gradebook. So don't do that. But that is the main crux of it, right? So I'll close this again just to show. In the class, you go to Launch Gradebook. From there, you go to Settings. Once it loads, Settings. And once you are in Settings, you go to Grade Calculation, School Year, and set up that bad boy. If you have other questions, let me know, and I hope that helps. Thanks.